Hey, what's up, guys? Clay Finkley here, and just want to give you a few quick things before we jump into the video. Number one, if you're a high schooler, we have a rally at our Conway location next Wednesday night. So don't go to your house groups, go to rally. It's going to be an incredible time. We're going to be talking about how we can really redeem relationships and how they can really glorify God. So don't miss out on that. And then the second thing I have to say is camp signups are open. You guys know all about camp. You know it's great. So if you're a middle schooler that's watching, get signed up for the camp that you're supposed to go to, the 3rd through 7th grade camp. It's going to be an incredible time at Garden City. Going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for it. But then if you're a high schooler or if you're in 8th grade, so 8th through 12th grade, get signed up for high school camp. At both camps, we have limited spots available, and so you need to get your deposit in and sign up so that you can secure your spot and get ready to go. So don't miss out on the best summer of your life, and don't miss out on Rally next week. This video is brought to you by Justin and McCall Schools, two amazing high school leaders. You guys will love them. Go ahead and check this out.
This is McCall and Justin Schools. We are here to talk to you today about how we should date. So I think just to give you a little bit background about who we are, in case you don't know us, but we actually host the freshman and sophomore youth ministry group here at The Rock. We've been serving on the youth ministry team for 4 years. 4 years.
Yeah.
Just about 4 years now. We love it. It's been a joy for us to do this. So this is something that's really exciting for us. We love working with the youth group.
Okay, so Justin and I have been married for almost 13 years. In May, it'll be 13 years. And
it's a long time, by the way. It's been a great time, but it's a long time.
It is. So we started dating when I was in my senior year of high school, and he was in his sophomore year at Coastal, and we went to a Bible study that my parents were running at the time at another church.
I had been going for a couple months, and for some reason I've never met McCall yet. And the only seat left was an ottoman, and I was like, all right, well, I'll sit on the ottoman, no big deal. And then in walks McCall, and I'm like, yo, who is that? And I was like, there's no other seats. This is going to work out perfect. The ottomans, that's big enough. And I'm like, I'll scoot over. You can sit next to me. That's perfectly fine. And then I think over the next year and a half, we got to know each other. I actually joined the youth ministry. There was not actually a youth group currently like we have here.
Yeah.
It was more of a production type thing where everybody was involved in this production that was going on. And I joined so I could get closer to McCall. That's the only reason I joined. I mean, to serve God, obviously. Whoever I dated, I wanted to know that they were going to be somebody I could marry. And I saw that in McCall. And actually, I think I introduced you to my best friend at the time. I was like, this is my future wife, McCall.
It was a little weird.
We had a lock-in at the church.
Yes,
We had a lock-in at the
Easter.
church for Easter. And the youth group was supposed to be all these people.
Yeah.
I had been praying about how I should confront McCall about the fact that, well, I like her and I feel like we belong together. And I eventually, just everything. And
The day after that, I was dating someone at the time. So the day after that, I broke up with that current boyfriend.
I convinced her to break up with her boyfriend at the time.
Yep.
All right, so let's try to take our story and how we've come together and what we've learned over the years of us dating, because we dated for about 3.5 years before we even got married.
Yeah.
So
and
let's
then we were engaged even 14 months.
Yeah, we were engaged 14 months, right? So let's take our story and what we've learned over the time we've been together, and let's apply it to Ruth, what we've learned. So
Yep.
So Ruth chapter 3, and it's important to note there's a couple of background things here, and that's mostly from what we learned last week, right? So last week we learned who should I date. Clay talked about mannequins. We learned about Ruth chapter 2 and chapter 1 there, and we kind of fused together of what we're looking for
In a person
to
date,
right?
Right.
So this story is a little bit different. Chapter 3 is a little bit different and dives into different things. The first part is really about listening to godly advice, listening to advice from mentors or people who give you good advice, godly advice.
Yeah.
So Ruth chapter 3, verse 1 through 4, it goes like this. Then Ruth's mother-in-law, Naomi, said to her, "My daughter, should I not look for a home for you, so all will be well with you? Is not Boaz of our family, with whose women servants you were? See, he is dividing the grain from the waste at his grain floor tonight. So wash yourself, pour oil on yourself, and wear your best clothes. Then go down to the grain floor. But do not let the man know who you are until he has finished eating and drinking. Then when he lies down, watch where he lies. Go and take the covers of his feet and lie down. Then he will tell you what to do. Yeah. All right. A little context, just in case we don't remember, we missed last week. Naomi is Ruth's mother-in-law. Mm-hmm. Naomi and Ruth and the other sister-in-law who's not here anymore, and we're not going to mention because, well, she bailed. These two lost their husbands. So she's really just hanging out with her mother-in-law. So Ruth wanted to listen to her. She wanted the advice from Naomi. And
she looked up to her.
Yeah, she looked up to her. That's a great way to put it. So Naomi was becoming this mentor. We'll call it a mentor for Ruth. Mm-hmm. And she's giving her advice here about how to attract and draw in the man that Ruth is potentially attracted to. And there's probably more going on in the background than what was in the scripture here, but
sure,
it was obvious that Boaz was the dude.
Right. And we talked about last week that he had a great personality, he had a great character, and that he would be somebody that we would want to date. So we understand why Ruth is looking at him this way, or why Naomi had seen him in this light too.
A little bit of weird things happening here. She's telling him to, she's giving him her advice on, wait until he's eating and he's drinking. So there's a way to a guy's heart, and it's usually through the dinner plate. The interesting part for today's society, she straight up tells him, when he lies down, watch where he lies and go and take the covers off his feet and lie down.
Sounds really bad.
No, that's not what she was saying at all, actually.
Yeah,
it's kind of different. It doesn't sound right, but what she was saying was there's a party happening. So it's not like they're alone in a bedroom. They're in this big area together with a bunch of other people. They all kind of pass out in this barn, in a sense. Mm-hmm. And she's saying, take the covers off and be at his feet. It's a way of being submissive, right? What we're taking here is listen to people's advice. So when McCall and I were dating, I actually prayed a lot about how I should approach McCall. I talked to a couple different people. I went to a couple different men I knew who were of godly stature. I knew they were in their Bibles all the time, that they prayed a lot, that they had good reputations, I would say, as far as I was concerned about being a Christian. And one of those people was actually our pastor at the time, who knew McCall very well and myself very well. And I actually approached him because McCall was in a relationship and I didn't know how to handle it. And I asked him, what do you think I should do? I've prayed about it. I feel like McCall's a girl I'm supposed to be dating, and eventually I'm supposed to marry, and I feel like she's the one, and I don't want her to get away for some reason. What should I do? And basically he told me, tell her how you feel. And so I took that advice, and thankfully I took that advice, because that's the reason we're here today. If it wasn't for that advice, I may have not ever gotten the courage to jump out there and do that.
We know as young adults even that it is hard to think about that you really want to chase your heart. You really want to chase your gut. But that person may not be the right person for you. So just think about when other people are telling you what they truly feel about maybe that somebody that you are dating. Just take that into account. Because sometimes it's really hard.
The right fit. Like you're not. That's not you. You're not being you anymore. You're not. Mm-hmm. Or I don't see you. You got to be able to trust people. And not everybody's going to see everything through your eyes either. But there's got to be a point where you need to trust that the people you trust are going to give you good advice. Sometimes
when you're inside of that relationship, it's really hard to see what it looks like from the outside. The next part we're going to talk about is let them know your intentions when you're dating. Ruth approached quietly, uncovered his feet, and laid down. In the middle of the night, something startled the man. He turned, and there was a woman lying at his feet. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am your servant Ruth," she said. "Spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are my guardian redeemer of our family." What we need to bring from this is that when you go on a date with someone, when you first talk to that person, when you talk to them about that you like them, that you're attracted to them, you need to find out what kind of intentions they have, or tell them your intentions spiritually, guys, and physically.
If those don't align, why even bother? You've already realized you're wasting your time, because you're not going to change somebody else's intentions.
Hey, will you do me a favor?
Yeah, what's up? What you need?
Will you go get me something to drink?
I can do that.
Okay. Girls, I'm going to talk to you a second, okay? So whenever that guy comes to you that is the bad boy, because I did that. I dated one of those. You think that you can change them. You cannot. That's the secret. You cannot. Okay? You have to have the right intentions, and he does too, at the start. At the start. You cannot change them. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We talked about this when we were in college or whenever we were in high school, making a list maybe of some things, potential things that you would want in a person to date, and even pray for that person or those things daily or weekly, or just keep that in mind, because it'll keep your mind focused on who you really want to be with in life.
Verse 10 now, and it says, "And Boaz said, May the Lord bring good to you, my daughter. You have shown your kindness to be better than your first by not going after young men with or without riches. Now, my daughter, do not be afraid. I will do for you whatever you ask, for all my people in the city know that you are a good woman. It is true that I am of your family, but there is one closer than I. Stay this night. In the morning, if he will have you for his own, let him take you. But if he does not want to have you, then I will take you. As the Lord lives, lie down until morning." Because Boaz knows this girl who has nothing right this second, who he is leaving scraps for, told his people to protect. We learned that last time. And he's like, yeah, you like me? Okay, awesome. But here's the thing. We got to get everything in order first. We're not doing this the wrong way. I love God. I trust God. And I want to be in God's good graces. So I'm doing things the right way. Do you mind? Can you grab the boys real quick for me?
Yeah.
All right. Boys, focus in real quick. And I'm gonna be real, right? This is real between you and me. Keep it in your pants. The girl that you want to be with or you are dating is not your wife yet. She is not your wife. She is potentially somebody else's wife, and you don't know who she's going to marry. You do not have a guarantee she's going to be your bride. Keep it in your pants. It's not worth it, because it's not just about you. It's about somebody else. There's two people in a situation, and it relies on both people to be correct morally. And I think that's the huge piece to this is they did what was right. So I think one of the last things we wanted to do is we wanted to bring the boys in. Come in here real quick, guys. So just in case you didn't know, we have two boys.
Yep.
We have a 10-year-old named Parker, a 6-year-old named Paxton, and we wanted to see if they could give any dating advice for anybody. So why don't you slide around here? And do you have any dating advice for any of these guys?
I would be nice and kind to each other.
Nice and kind to each other. What about you, Paxton?
Same thing as Parker.
Same thing as Parker. I think that's good advice. So I think that's really all McCall and I have for today.
Yep. Just making sure that you are doing what's right and not what's easy, because it's really easy to fall into temptation. Do some things that your heart wants to do.
Absolutely. And I think that if you do that, you will find the right relationship and you will find the right person. All right. We love y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Say what's up to the camera. Say what's up.
Okay.